put it out there because it's out there. It's out there. Let's move on to hockey with the Dan K, the hockey dude. Dan, go ahead, take it away for hockey, sir. What you got for us tonight?
Well, I know we're running behind a little bit here. We had a spirited college football conversation, so we're going to blitz through this real quick on the rankings. So, number 1, Vegas. Number 2, the Jets. Number 3, the Caps. Number 4, the Wild. Number 5, the Kings. 6 is the Oilers. 7 is the Devils. 8 is the Panthers. 9th is the Leafs. And 10 is the Canes. Vegas has been hot up at late, 8-2 in their last 10. But more what I want to get into is where we left it the last time we had talked.
Oh, God.
We're back to the Rangers watch. So it's like they heard us, right? The next thing we know, they come out to Dallas and they play a great game. The stars show up for the Rangers. They get points. They get the W, and they haven't won since.
Hey, man, it was for you, Dan. We do that for you.
They were like, shut that guy out.
We do that because we love you.
It's that they've lost 4 straight, and they're playing Boston right now. At the end of 2, the Rangers are up 2-1, and then
lose this game.
But they lost. Let's see, they lost 3-1 to the Canes, 5-0 to the Devils, 6-2 to Tampa, and then 5-3 recently against the Panthers. And I watched the highlights of that game. They didn't play too bad against the Panthers. They just had some a bad bounce, and then it went. Kind of did a crapper. But after Boston tonight, you get Ovi on Saturday.
Not good.
And then you might get a freebie on Sunday because you got the Blackhawks.
Yo, the Rangers on national TV, like 2
back to back.
Back to back, brother.
Yep, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But Connor's not playing, right? Bedard, he's not back yet.
He's playing. Bedard's playing.
Okay. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, he was playing in the outdoor game. Which we'll get into here in a minute.
Hey, Dan, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rangers have fell to the bottom of the division. I mean, this is they was up at one point in the season for a little bit.
They were 12-4.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they are 16-19 already. I mean,
yep.
33 points. This is definitely alert.
You're going to see probably a fire sale depending on how the next probably 5 games go, because the no move for the holiday referendum is up, I believe. And you got some players that are being scratched, like Capo, and spoke out about it. And where's Capo now? Oh, he's in Seattle.
Capo gone.
And then
he gone.
I saw another one where I think a defenseman, Jones was his name, was not happy that he was being scratched. And he's like, I'm not trying to Capo out of here. but he's got a problem with the coach, not because he's not getting time. And you're seeing they're not playing well. At least like tonight, they've been playing pretty decent. But as a whole, they've been really struggling. And like we've talked about, I think the GM would go before the coach, but it's probably going to be the coach. And I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the other big ticket names get moved.
But overall, the players, not to interrupt you, but the players, they enjoy playing for Lavalette.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part, right?
Yeah. From what I see in snippets of interviews and whatnot, that they like playing for him. I don't think he's necessarily the problem. I think they got a lot of internal strife, with the way like we talked about, with the way they handled some of these trades, moving players out, and the way they treated them. I mean, just look what they did with your captain, sending him to Anaheim, and they tried to move him to like 2 different teams. I think Columbus was one of them, and he ixnayed that because he has his no trade clause. But now, coupled with, not playing very well, now your top goaltender is put on, the IR with a upper body injury, which I believe is right here. The confidence is he's struggling, bro. Like I told you the other day, like he's had like 11 games where he's given up 5 goals. this season, which is crazy after the way he played last year. Because literally, this team at the beginning of the season was damn near the same team minus maybe 3 people. So I don't get it. And, your favorite boy, Sean Avery, I've seen a couple of his videos where he was breaking down the Rangers play. And, like, he showed one with Keandre Miller. Like, he coughed the puck up in the offensive zone by the faceoff dot and then didn't skate hard to get back. And the guy he should have had was the guy that scored the goal.
Gotta hustle.
So it's like, and some of these goals that are happening to Igor are not his fault. Like, there's nothing he can do about it. It just is what it is. It's part of the game. A bad bounce, hit a shin pad, whatever. But we'll see.
Fire sale.
Yeah, they're going to move somebody.
Fire sale.
And they may fire the coach, but if they fire the coach, who are they going to replace him with? Because if that was the case when Montgomery got let go of Boston, maybe you should have picked him up.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
But
that'd be a yes, man. That'd be a yes.
It is what it is. And like Zibanejad finally scored tonight. Here we are. We're almost at the halfway point of the season. A lot of these teams are anywhere from like 35 to 40 games played. He's got 7 goals. That's it. 7 goals.
Kind of quiet there, huh?
Chris Kreider assisted on the goal. That's his 2nd assist for the year. That's crazy.
Almost at the halfway point, yeah.
I mean, so,
what is Chris Drury going to do?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Kreider go. And I wouldn't even be surprised to see Mika go. Just because of the way that they're playing right now. If you can move him, this hypothetical, right? So if you could move Zibanejad to Buffalo for Tage Thompson,
right?
Younger,
you can
higher ceiling player.
Yes. Okay.
Do you move him for that?
Yes. Yes, I'll answer for yes.
That's what I'm saying. There's some players out there that they can move some of these guys to shore up whatever deficiencies they're having. Like we talked about, they were good on the penalty kill. Their power play was mid-pack.
Yeah.
But they're not good at 5-on-5.
I just find it amazing how did we get here so quickly? We was just on top of the mountain.
Right near it.
You were one series from playing for the cup.
There was
absolutely. How did we get there?
Bananas, man. Stepped on the banana peel and it was over.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. They got handed by with the Panthers the other night. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
No. This is your team. We can talk about them.
God damn.
Let us know your feelings.
I haven't been telling you to sing all year. It's
quiet.
Yes, very quiet. Yes, I've been very quiet. I have nothing to say. I'm sorry.
They're bad.
Yeah, they're bad. You're right.
Hey, we're able to hold on to.
They've already started.
We're able to hold on.
I'm sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
We was able to. No, I was just saying we're able to hold on to the other tenant in MSG that's playing well. Thank God for them.
Yeah,
the Knicks.
I watched them yesterday.
I watched them too against Utah. But go ahead, Dan. Yeah, we can just lean on to that. Go ahead.
They just started the third. They're up 2-1 on Boston. We'll see how this game ends.
Yeah.
But that's with the Rangers, we'll give them see what happens. Because like you said, we got Saturday and Sunday. And then I think like Monday or Tuesday, they got Utah. They got probably like 4 or 5 games in the next week.
Usually national TV games get you fired.
Yeah, so we'll see how the next 5 go for them. Because if they don't start turning it around, I got a feeling that they got to make a change.
Well, there's still gonna be a fire. I mean, shoot, how many more changes you got to make, Dan? Right? How many? The numbers already. Is more change than most teams do in a whole season. So listen.
Well, you got the trade deadline coming up here.
Yeah, so it'll just be Ego there by himself.
That's usually with like 15 games left in the season. So, and a lot of teams try to get ahead of that now and make the deal so they can get the chemistry going instead of 7 games before the playoffs.
Ego will be there by himself.
But yeah, you guys, you were on top of the mountain.
And we're not now.
Yep, you got on that banana peel, and now you're at the bottom.
Yes, very much so.
Can't
even find our way back up. We fall and then we can't get up.
You got 33 points.
Wow.
Buffalo has 32. And then Chicago's got 26, Nashville's got 29, and San Jose's got 28.
We lost to Chicago.
So that's the company you're keeping right now.
I know. Young guys. There you go.
You know, you
Like
got to start somewhere.
Yeah, young guys.
And you guys brought up Louis Domingue for Igor. So we'll see, if he gets any playing time here in the next couple.
Need to.
I got a feel that he's got to probably play Chicago.
Yeah.
Just because they're playing back to back.
Yeah. Needs to. And
then we had the Winter Classic. That was New Year's Eve for whatever reason when there was like 9 games on. That should have been a New Year's Day game, like it always have been.
So. Yeah.
But I regress. But the Blues beat the Blackhawks 6-2. And I thought it was kind of cool that Cam Fowler, I believe he just got traded not too long ago from Anaheim to St. Louis. But he was playing in his 1,000th game, which is a huge milestone for hockey players. And he scored twice in that game, in the outdoor game at Wrigley Field. So I thought that was really cool. And there's a good tilt. If you go on hockeyfights.com, just look for Foligno versus Shen. The 2 captains went at it. It's center ice, and it was a fairly good tilt. And, Chicago, they changed their coach recently. They've lost 5 straight, so that's not really working. And that's what I'm saying. Like if Rangers, fire their coach, there's no guarantee that it's going to work.
Oh yeah, of course.
It can get worse.
It
depends on if you interim a coach to the end of the year or you go straight, because that's probably more likely to happen if they fire the coaches. You're going to interim one of the current coaches. You're probably not going to hire someone brand new right in the middle of the season because a lot of those guys already got picked up.
Right.
But,
and that's just opportunity. Like you just can't at that point in time.
Yeah. The cupboard's a little bare when it comes to picking a coach at that point. You might have to get one that's on the TV side or whatever that hasn't been coaching this year. Hell, Detroit fired their coach, Lalonde, I think his name was, and they brought McClellan back. I'm like, what do you guys do? I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, my man's up there at ESPN on TV with the sharp suits, and you get him. So
who? Melrose?
The pimp.
Melrose.
Yeah, he's been out of the bit. Yeah, he was having a little bit of health issues.
He got some health issues. Yeah,
that's the pimp.
But he still has an awesome mullet.
Oh yeah, it's the pimp. Pimp baby.
But
PIMP.
My only thing is hey, put that damn game New Year's Day because they
day.
had Devils and Kings on New Year's Day. That was the only game. But
really?
Everybody else played Tuesday, and I was like, that just doesn't make sense.
That's strange.
But I did see some cool things. They had Bettman on the intermission, and I think they said that they've been thinking out of the box of where they could have next year's outdoor game, and they said they weren't ready to announce it yet, but within like a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, we may find out where next year's game is. So looking forward to seeing where they're going to do that. And then the other thing that I just wanted to touch on is the grade 8 is back in action. He's been like 3 games back since he fractured his fibula on November 18th, which how he's still on the ice this quick is beyond me. It's that Russian gas.
Yeah, that Russian stuff.
That's some crazy shit.
But vitamins.
He was going into tonight 25 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record of 894.
He's prolific.
And I see on the stats here that he has a power play goal.
Ooh.
So now he's 24 away. And if I had to guess, he was on the left side on his off wing on the face-off dot, just standing waiting for a pass into his wheelhouse.
He got
where he scored probably 700 goals.
Right, in his career.
That's like they should, like, how when Gretzky retired, they put the 99s behind all the nets because that was his office, so to speak, where he did his work. Well, when Ovi decides to, hang him up, I think that the whole league should just on that dot put the number 8 for the whole season.
Yeah,
because he's gonna break this record, which is insane that he's got 18 goals, and he's pushing 40.
Yeah,
wow. After breaking his leg, he's still playing at a high level. So
they're rushing gas.
Yeah, being a Pens fan, he was the enemy for the longest time, and the longer that you watch great players, you can, even though they're on your rival team,
you can appreciate them.
You can appreciate them, and you appreciate what they've done for the game. Because through the years, Crosby and him, they basically carried the league there for a good 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I saw too on the intermission of the Winter Classic that when they had Bettman, that Gretzky and Bettman are going to be traveling once he gets closer to breaking this record to the games.
Oh, okay.
To be in attendance if and when he does do it.
That's cool.
So, and it was funny because Biz asked Wayne, he said, "Who's getting the remote in the hotel?" Batman's like, "Oh, he can have it, whatever." And then the other cool thing I saw was they had Biz. They have basically, I think it's synthetic ice, a little, big rectangle that the kids can play on.
Uh-huh.
But they had Bedard stick handle on, and Biz was trying to take the puck from him.
Wow.
And they're going around, he's flipping it in the air over top of Biz and whatever. Biz got it away from a couple times. But the best part was the clip that I saw was the ex-player, Keith Yandel, who's a big jokester. You could hear him on the side say, "Hey, son, the Make-A-Wish is over. Time to get off the ice."
I did see that. That was funny.
Yeah, man. That sucked.
Biz is always getting chirped, which is awesome.
Yeah.
He's a great fighter, though. Shout out to Biz.
Yeah. I love, hey, they're spitting chicklets show.
I'm talking about at the restaurant.
Houston's, yep. But, that's like, if you want to hear some great stories about playing in Russia, go through their catalog of podcasts because they got some great stories. Like I used to listen to that religiously. And the last thing I got is we're about a little over a month away from the Four Nations tournament, taking was it February 12th to the 20th?
Right.
So that we got that. Hey, I'm absolutely looking forward to that because no all-star game, no 3-on-3, no half-ass playing.
It's playing.
This is gonna be for real because they're playing for their nations. And I got a feeling it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about that about a month ago. We think that's kind of the way these things should go.
Well, you got to do something.
Yeah. You got to get something to make it better.
And just to touch on my boys here, Kev, you sent me this earlier, and I was just giggling to myself because I know exactly. Said Toronto's back on the island.
Oh.
You know what that means?
John Tavares.
The devil himself is back in the building. They still can't let that guy live.
Yeah, bro, they hate that guy, man. I was like, he just left. I'm sorry, man.
I knew.
Yeah, burning.
But hey, Islander fans, guess what? What's John won since he went to Toronto? One playoff series. That's it.
That's it.
Not even a cup.
Nothing.
One playoff series.
So why are you guys, riding him so hard? He's got nothing.
The Stanley Cup from the store.
So he went to be punished, and he went to Toronto.
And that's what happened.
And he's been punished for what?
That thing I sent
6 years now.
That thing I sent you. That guy, you would act like Tavares left like yesterday. I was like, well, Tavares got traded like when he left.
It's been 5-6 years ago.
And that guy was going at it. That's how fanatics.
Yeah, man.
That's your diehard Islander fan. Now remember, in the 80s, you had those dynasties and all those great players. So that's kind of the thing, though. That's where you get that kind of fan base. So think about what Tampa's doing or did, and look what Florida's doing. Like if Florida could win another cup or two in the next couple of years, all those kids, between 6 and 15 or whatever, that's going to be your fan base.
And more hockey rinks down here,
and that's going to get the passion into those cities for their teams. And then when they get old enough, have kids or whatever, and pass it on to them, that's where you kind of build that. But moving to these areas like in the South or whatever, even like Carolina, they won 06, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you go to a playoff game at that place, I highly recommend it.
A question, Dan. I'm sorry before we get off hockey. Utah, the team in Utah, they're playing now, right?
They're playing somebody, I think.
What's the fan?
Calgary. They're playing Calgary.
What's the fan thing? Like are people really behind it, or is it like what's it looking like as far as the fans and?
Every time I see a game from there, like they kind of got the Brooklyn thing going because they're playing in the Jazz Arena.
Yeah.
And it's not meant for hockey. So
so it looks a little funny, but
it looks a little different than your normal hockey arena. But I'll say this, they got probably some of the best seats that I'd be willing to throw money down to watch a game. It's right at the face-off dot, and it's kind of a wonky section to where they push the other seats back, and this one's just kind of hanging like midway up the glass. So you're like up in the netting kind of view, but you're literally like almost on top of the face-off circle. And I guarantee you, whoever sits in those seats, you can hear those guys chirping all night long, talking shit to each other.
Wow.
So like you get, because like if you're behind the glass, it's hard to hear anything.
Right.
That's being said, on the ice, other than you might hear someone like give a big yell for a puck, like hey, something like that.
Right.
But when they're talking junk, you really can't hear a whole lot of that. But if you get up above that glass, like that section,
okay, because I was wondering how what the. I figured the reception would be good. I figured folks would like them. They got a pretty good team. That's moving over there, so it's already ready-made team. Like what the fans, the response was, and where the game's packed out, all those things. I wanted to know, kind of,
I'll say this about Utah, and that when they were in Phoenix, they would always get good draft picks and whatnot.
Right.
But they would bury everybody's contract in the league that was hurt, so they could get to the cap floor.
Right.
But the dude that owns the Jazz owns this team as well.
Right.
Is it Smith? I think his name is.
I don't know who he is.
But I saw a bunch of stuff when they were doing like the unveiling and all that kind of stuff. And like that family is 100% in on hockey in Utah. And they want to make, like, I know they probably want to build a new arena for both the Jazz and the Utah, the hockey team. But they want it to be more of like a destination point, like where you go into downtown and you go to a game, you go to restaurants, go shopping, whatever.
Right.
Yes. And he wants to make it, entertainment for the crowd, the fans that come.
Right.
Just not the game. You get more than a game, kind of like what Vegas is doing.
An experience.
An experience, something similar to that. So,
and that's what most of these new arenas and new projects they're doing.
Right.
They're doing it where, like you said, they're doing like a destination thing.
But this guy wants to win. So, like all these contract dumps they take of players that that can't play, like Shea Weber, I think they took on his contract, just to get the money on the books to get to the floor. But he's going to actually spend money, get players in there. They got a really good team as far as young players. Like they got Quentin Keller, Logan Cooley, Dylan Guthier, Nick Schmaltz, Bukestad, Ole Mata, Sergachev, Ian Cole. Like they brought it in Bertuzzo. Like this is like the Penguins West. Like Bertuzzo, Cole, Mata, Bukestad, they all played in Pittsburgh at one point. But they're filling in the roster spots with quality players. Like they got a really good defensive team on paper here. And I would look for, as time goes on, like this is their first season, and where are they at in the standings? All right, so they got 38 points. They're 16, 15, and 6 overtime losses. So they're like middle of the road, like 500 team, which, usually they were at the bottom when they were in Phoenix. So it's going to take them time, some drafts and stuff like that to get some more players in there, or make deals at the trade deadline to bring in a player or two to get them over the hump once they get to that point. But the future is very bright in Utah. I'm waiting to see what they actually name this team, because this is this. Oh. Yeah, well, this is this temporary. That's the college team.
Utes.
Yeah, I hope they name him the Yeti.
The Yetis, that's what they said they was going to do.
That, because that would be a cool emblem and stuff that they could do. Yeah. And you got the mascot, all that stuff, the marketing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I did see where they had a thing where it's like, if you bought two tickets, two $10 tickets or whatever, then you got like a hot dog and a soda to go with it. And then if you spent like $30 or $40, then you got something a little bit more. So it's like they're incentivizing people to come,
right?
And it'll take them a little bit of time, but I think in the future that's going to be a destination that players would really like to play. Just because you have all the winter sports in the winter, you got the mountains and all that. So I think they'll be all right. And I think they're in good hands with the owner that they got.
All right, I'm really glad to hear that. So I knew they were there, and I knew they were starting, but I just didn't know how the fan reaction and what the gate looked like every night, so forth. You know what I mean? Like the business part of it. So
yeah, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Gotcha. That's all you got for us, Dan?
Yep.
He is Dan, the hockey dude.